Gemini, if the last few days have left you with the strange feeling that something is about to change, don't ignore it. The week beginning August 15th, 2026, is not an ordinary week for you. Something that has been moving quietly behind the scenes may suddenly become visible, and the information you receive could change the way you see a person, a career opportunity, a financial decision, or even your own future. You may enter this week thinking you already know what you want. But by the end of it, you may realize that what you wanted 6 months ago is not necessarily what you want now. And that realization is not confusion. It is growth. Dear Gemini, during August 15th to 21st, 2026, your mind becomes one of your greatest sources of power. Conversations, messages, unexpected information, travel, networking, learning, and new connections can all play an important role. A single conversation could open a door that months of effort couldn't open. If this reading resonates with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Stay until the end, because this week carries important messages about your career, money, love, relationships, unexpected opportunities, emotional healing, social connections, and one decision that may become more important than it first appears. Gemini, you are naturally curious. You ask questions. You observe. You connect ideas. You notice details that other people miss. And this week, that ability becomes extremely valuable. The planetary atmosphere encourages communication and movement, but it also asks you to become more selective about the information you believe. Not everything you hear is the full story. Someone may tell you something that sounds convincing. A person may make a promise. A company may present an attractive opportunity. A romantic interest may say exactly what you want to hear. But this week, Gemini, listen to the words while watching the behavior. The truth may be hiding between the two. You may receive information that initially creates confusion, but after you have time to process it, you may realize that it actually gives you the missing piece of a much larger puzzle. This is why you should avoid making immediate decisions simply because you are emotionally excited. Give yourself time. The answer may become clearer after the conversation ends. Your professional life is one of the areas where this week could become especially interesting. If you've been feeling bored, restricted, or underused at work, something may begin shifting. A new responsibility could arrive. Someone may ask for your help with an important project. A colleague could recommend you for something. Or you may hear about an opportunity that involves communication, technology, writing, sales, education, media, travel, or networking. These areas can be particularly productive for Gemini because they allow you to use your ability to adapt and communicate. If you're searching for a job, don't limit yourself to one path. Send the application. Contact the person. Ask the question. Follow up on the opportunity you thought was already gone. A previous conversation may suddenly become relevant again. Someone you spoke to months ago could contact you. A company that previously rejected you could have another position available. Or a person who once underestimated you may suddenly recognize your value. The message here is clear. Don't assume a closed door is permanently closed. Some doors reopen when the timing becomes right. If you're considering starting a business or personal project, this week is excellent for gathering information. Don't worry about having everything perfect. Research. Plan. Talk to people who have experience. Test the idea. Learn what works. Gemini, your greatest professional advantage isn't necessarily knowing everything. It's your ability to learn quickly. Use that ability. Financially, the week brings possibilities, but it also requires discipline. You may discover an additional income source. A freelance project could appear. Someone could offer you paid work. A business idea may become more realistic. Or you could find a way to turn one of your existing skills into something profitable. Your ability to communicate can become financially valuable. Writing. Marketing. Sales. Teaching. Content creation. Translation. consulting, online business, networking. These are areas where your natural adaptability can work in your favor. But there is one warning. Your mind may move faster than your financial planning. You may become excited about an idea and immediately start imagining the reward. Slow down. Look at the actual numbers. What will it cost? How long will it take? What are the risks? What happens if the expected result doesn't arrive immediately? A good idea becomes a strong financial decision only after it survives careful examination. Avoid spending simply because you are bored. Avoid buying something because you think it will instantly improve your mood. And be especially careful with financial promises that sound too easy. If someone tells you that you can make a large amount of money with almost no effort, ask more questions. Your curiosity can protect you this week. Use it. When it comes to love, Gemini, your emotional world becomes much more interesting. If you're already in a relationship, communication will become the center of everything. Something you've been avoiding discussing may finally come up. Perhaps you've been wondering what your partner really wants. Perhaps you've noticed emotional distance. Perhaps there has been tension around money, family, commitment, or the future. This week gives you an opportunity to talk about it. But don't turn the conversation into an interrogation. You don't need to win. You need to understand. Ask questions. Listen. Give the other person space to speak. And then explain what you need. If your relationship is healthy, this kind of honesty can strengthen the bond considerably. You may discover that your partner has been thinking about the same future you have been imagining. But if the relationship has been held together mostly by habit, this week could expose that reality. Gemini, there is a difference between having history with someone and having a future with them. History can be beautiful, but history alone is not enough. A relationship needs present effort. For single Gemini natives, this week could bring a fascinating new connection. You may meet someone through work, friends, travel, education, social media, or a completely unexpected conversation. The person could be intelligent, witty, independent, or unusually curious. You may immediately notice that you can talk to them for hours without running out of things to say. That mental connection could become important. For Gemini, attraction often begins in the mind before it reaches the heart. And this week, someone could capture your attention simply by making you think differently. But don't rush. Let the connection develop. A person who is genuinely interested will show consistency. They won't disappear whenever you become emotionally available. They won't make you constantly question where you stand. And they won't expect you to do all the emotional work. You deserve someone who is interested in knowing the real you, not simply the entertaining version of you. There is also a possibility that someone from your past may return. A former partner, an old friend, someone you once had feelings for, or a person you lost contact with. A message could arrive unexpectedly, and for a moment old emotions may return. But Gemini, don't confuse nostalgia with destiny. Sometimes we miss how a person made us feel rather than missing the person themselves. Ask yourself what has actually changed. If nothing has changed, why would the outcome be different? You don't have to repeat an old story simply because someone has returned to the page. Your emotional growth becomes one of the most important themes of this week. You may begin recognizing how often you use distraction to avoid uncomfortable feelings. You keep busy. You talk to people. You scroll. You plan. You move. You start something new. But eventually, the mind becomes quiet. And when it becomes quiet, emotions you've been avoiding can finally speak. Don't be afraid of that silence. It may be trying to tell you something important. Perhaps you're tired. Perhaps you're disappointed. Perhaps you've been pretending to be okay. Perhaps you've outgrown a situation but haven't admitted it yet. Whatever the truth is, give yourself permission to hear it. You don't need to solve your entire life in one evening. You simply need to be honest about what you're feeling. Your social circle may also undergo subtle changes. You may begin noticing which friendships stimulate you and which ones drain you. Some people may constantly bring drama. Others may inspire you. Some may only appear when they need something. Others may genuinely celebrate your success. This week, the difference becomes clearer. Don't become suspicious of everyone. Simply become more selective. Your attention is valuable. Your time is valuable. Your emotional energy is valuable. Spend it where it can grow. And don't be surprised if a new friendship develops with someone you never expected to meet. This person may eventually introduce you to an opportunity, a new community, or a completely different way of thinking. Sometimes one new connection can change an entire season of your life. Now let's look at the important days of your week. August 15th begins with mental activity and reflection. You may receive information that gives you something to think about. Don't rush to interpret everything immediately. August 16th is favorable for career conversations, applications, networking, and learning. If you need to communicate an idea, speak clearly and confidently. August 17th requires financial caution. Avoid impulsive purchases and don't make financial commitments simply because someone is pressuring you. August 18th may bring unexpected news. A message or phone call could change your plans. Stay flexible. August 19th is particularly interesting for love and social connections. A conversation could develop into something more meaningful than expected. August 20th is favorable for networking, travel, education, and professional opportunities. Say yes to experiences that expand your world. August 21st brings clarity. Something that confused you earlier in the week may finally make sense, allowing you to make a decision with greater confidence. And Gemini, there is one hidden warning you should remember throughout this entire week. Don't let too many possibilities prevent you from choosing one direction. You are capable of seeing multiple futures. That's a gift. But sometimes it becomes a problem. You imagine one possibility, then another, and suddenly you're standing in the same place, surrounded by options. This week requires you to choose, not because every decision will be perfect, but because movement creates information. You cannot discover whether a road is right for you if you never take the first step. As the week progresses, you may realize that you've been waiting for certainty that doesn't exist. You want to know exactly how things will end before you begin. But life rarely works that way. Sometimes you receive clarity only after you move. That may be one of the biggest lessons of this period. Don't wait until you're completely fearless. Take the step while you're still uncertain. Don't wait until every detail is perfect. Begin with what you know. Don't wait until everyone agrees with your decision. Your future cannot be built by committee. Gemini, you may find yourself standing between two different versions of your life. One version is familiar. It has predictable routines, predictable people, predictable outcomes. The other version is more exciting but less certain. It requires learning, experimenting, traveling, meeting new people, taking a professional risk, opening your heart again, and perhaps most importantly, trusting yourself. The second path may frighten you, but fear doesn't always mean danger. Sometimes fear simply means you're entering unfamiliar territory. And unfamiliar territory is where growth happens. You don't have to change everything during the week of August 15th to 21st. One decision is enough. One conversation, one application, one idea, one boundary, one invitation, one step. The smallest decision can create the largest direction. Gemini, August 2026 is teaching you that your mind is powerful, but your life changes when your thoughts become actions. You can think about a new career, but eventually you have to apply. You can dream about financial freedom, But eventually you have to change your habits. You can imagine a healthy relationship. But eventually you have to establish healthy boundaries. You can want a different life. But eventually you have to stop repeating the decisions that created the old one. And that is where your real transformation begins. So when something unexpected happens this week, don't immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this showing me?" The unexpected message may be showing you a new possibility. The delayed opportunity may be showing you better timing. The returning person may be showing you how much you've changed. The difficult conversation may be showing you what needs to be said. The uncomfortable decision may be showing you where you've outgrown your current life. And the quiet feeling inside you may be telling you that you're ready. Gemini, destiny doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives as a thought that refuses to disappear. A name you keep thinking about. An idea that keeps returning. A place you suddenly want to visit. A skill you suddenly want to learn. A business idea that won't leave your mind. A feeling that says, "There has to be more than this." If you experience that feeling during this week, don't silence it. Explore it. Because the week of August 15th to 21st, 2026 may not give you every answer. But it can give you the question that changes everything. What if the life you want is closer than you think? And what if the only thing standing between you and that life is the decision to finally stop waiting? Gemini, your next chapter doesn't have to begin dramatically. Can begin with one conversation, one message, one application, one meeting, one journey, one brave decision. And months from now, you may look back and realize that what seemed like an ordinary moment was actually the beginning of something much bigger. So stay curious. Stay observant. Protect your energy. Choose your words carefully. Listen to actions. Follow opportunities that expand your world. And don't be afraid to leave behind situations that keep your mind trapped in the same circle. Because August 15th to 21st, 2026 is not simply asking you to think about your future. It is asking you to participate in creating it. And Gemini, when your powerful mind finally works together with your courage, there is very little that can keep you in the same place.